Hello hackers, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about the JavaScript post message function or method. Alright, and I'm going to show you how an insecure usage of this method can render your website vulnerable. So a few days back I was carrying out a pen test for a client website, and I discovered that his website was making use of this post message method in a vulnerable way, all right, or in an insecure way. So I'm going to demonstrate this to you. Right now I have four folders here: attacker, attacker 2, victim, and also victim 2. All right, so we're going to make use of each of them one after the other. So this one here is for the attacker's page or the attacker's code, and this is for the victim's code. All right, so this is the vulnerable site, and we're going to exploit this by making use of this attacker's code here. Okay, so I'm just going to start up my terminal, and we are going to navigate into both folders. All right, so cd attacker. All right, so this is it, and I'm going to open a new terminal here, launch new instance. This will be the one for the vulnerable side. All right, okay, so I'm going to come here, and I'm going to serve the vulnerable site at port 8000. So I'm going to run that. Now let's open my Firefox browser and let's see how this vulnerable site looks like. All right, so my browser is starting up. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to go to that port 8000, right, and vulnerable site.html. So I'm going to hit my enter key here. Okay, so this is the vulnerable site. This is the vulnerable side. Okay, so this is a banking dashboard. All right, a demo. A demo, you can call it a demo. All right, so this is a banking dashboard. It looks safe, right, and it listens for messages using the window.add-event-listener listing function. But guess what? No origin check. That is mistake number one. All right, so let's inspect it and see. I'm going to come to the inspector here and let's see. Okay, so we have the script here. Now you can see here that it uses this window.add event listener. Okay, now it listens for a message, and when it gets this message, it compares the message to this get balance string here. So if there is a match, then what it does is it sends this message to the origin or to where this particular message came from. So what the sender will receive is your balance is $10,000. Okay, so now one thing here is this: it doesn't verify the origin of the message or the origin where this message is coming from. Now this could be from an untrusted source or a source that is not trusted. Okay, so let's see how we can exploit that. So I'm going to run the attacker's page at let's do that at page 9000. Sorry, at port 9000, not page. Alright, so I'm going to come to my browser here and let's run that. That should be 123 9000 attacker.html. Okay. Alright, so this is the attacker's site. Now, if I should click on this button, exploit now, what I'm going to is going to redirect me to the vulnerable website, and there I will see my balance. Your account balance is worth $10,000. Now let's take a look at the code. So I'm going to open it with Gedit. All right, so this is it, and I'm also going to open the let's open that of the vulnerable website so that you see what is going on behind the scene. All right, so that we'll get a feel of the source code. So that should be in my home, victim. Where should that be? Victim. Now this is it. So I'm going to open it. Okay, so now this is the vulnerable website. It listens for a message, and then if it gets this message known as what get balance, if it receives this particular message, it what sends the balance to the origin, which is what the attacker. Now the attacker here uses the post message JavaScript function to send this message get balance to all hosts, which means there is no specific host. That is, anyone that is listening for this can also receive this message. All right, so now when it sends this, This vulnerable site here does not verify the origin. You just go ahead to check if this is get balance, or if there's no match, then it what runs the S body or this S block, which means if the hacker or the attacker can supply a malicious script, which means this vulnerable website is going to what execute that script using this eval function. All right, so let's see what we can do here right now. Let's see if let's change this to something malicious. So JavaScript alert 99. All right, so I'm going to save this. I'm sorry, I can't save that. So what I'm going to do is sorry, I'm going to open this using sudo. So close without saving, because I implemented that in sudo. So open terminal here. All right, so let's do that. Sudo nano attacker.html. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to change this get balance here. Okay, we're going to change it to something malicious. Let's see how to exploit it. So JavaScript alert 99. All right, so I'm going to save this and then exit. Now let's come to the site here, to the attacker's page, and let's refresh it and then click on exploit now. All right, so we see now that the vulnerable website executed our malicious JavaScript code. All right, so you can see how this is not good. Now you can also supply any malicious JavaScript code here, and it's going to execute it. All right, since it does not verify the origin before using the eval function to execute the message. So that is how a site can be vulnerable, when it doesn't verify the origin or where a message is coming from whenever it's making use of the post message function. Okay, so now I want to show you another thing. Now we are done with this one here, right? So I'm going to show you what I have on the second folder. Come in, let me stop this, and let's go back to this. I'm going to stop running this. Now let's go to the second folder where I have the code. Okay, so here we have that of the attacker. So what I'm going to show you now is, what if this vulnerable website or this vulnerable banking application, let's say it has a subdomain that it trusts, or a site that it trusts. Let's say they communicate information, sensitive information or confidential information between themselves. Now, if one of them or the other does not verify the origin of the message, that means an attacker can take advantage of that vulnerability. Okay, let me just show you what I mean. All right, so I'm going to run this at port 8000, okay? And that of the attacker, I'm going to run it at port, let's say port, okay, at 9000, all right? So now I'm going to launch a new instance here, and what we are going to do now is I'm going to show you the source code of both of them. All right, so cd attacker2, okay, so nano attacker2.html. Now this one here, this is the source code for this. Okay, so it still makes use of the window add event listener, all right, to listen for a message from the vulnerable website. Now, this is how this works. This sends a message, get secret, to the vulnerable website. Now, the vulnerable website returns with a sensitive data or information to this attacker's page, and then the attacker can therefore what? Display the data. We have it here. So this can be used in a case whereby a particular website trusts, let's say a particular website communicates with another website, let's say its subdomain, and they both share important information by making use of this post message method. Now, if either of them does not verify the origin of the message, then an attacker can take advantage of that word vulnerability. All right. So let me show you the site. So what we're going to do now is, I'm running it at port 8000, the vulnerable site. Okay. So this is the vulnerable side, same thing like the other one with some added features. Okay, and that feature is this. Let me display the content. That should be victim 2 index.html, right? Okay, so this is it. So what this thing does is this, see, I put a comment here, a comment here. This doesn't check the origin of the message sender. All right, it receives a message, logs it, and then if the message is what gets secret, it does what? It sends this account balance $10,000 to the origin, that is to the attacker. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. Now what I'm going to do now is, let's go and let's visit the attacker's site. That should be 9,000. Sorry for that spelling there. Attacker2.html, right? Okay, so this is it. Now we have it here. Now we have error response. Let me check the code that I wrote. I'm going to check the code. Let's see. Okay, we have to change this to 8,000 since that is where our vulnerable site is running, that port. Okay, so we're going to come here and let's change this to 8,000. So I'm going to save this and then exit. All right, so let's go back to our browser and then refresh this. Now we can see here, welcome to our secure bank. Your account balance is $10,000. Now, I repeat again, if this site was configured to communicate with a subdomain or another site that it trusts and they both share confidential information, okay? Now, since they both use the post message method and neither of them do verify if the message is coming from a reliable source or from a trusted source or from each other. If they don't verify this, then an attacker can take advantage of that vulnerability. But let's run it first. So this attacker site uses an iframe to display the vulnerable website. So now let's run this. You can see stolen data. Account balance is worth $10,000. So this vulnerable website is not supposed to communicate with this attacker's machine. But since it doesn't verify the origin, it's communicating directly with my what? With my machine. Okay. So now, what if this vulnerable website was configured to send confidential data with a site it trusts, and since it does not verify the origin, we are going to what? Take advantage of that. So this is it, right? Let's say it always sends document.cookie to a site it trusts. All right, so I'm going to save this. Now, let's see what we're going to have here. So I'm going to click on Still Secret. Now we have the cookie sent to the attacker, okay? So this happens because the vulnerable site does not verify the origin of a message, okay? So for we to fix this, we need to add, okay, let's add something here that verifies that. So let's say if event dot origin, let's say if it's not equals to http localhost 8,000. So let's just stop here, okay? Then it's going to let's say alert untrusted source detected. Okay, so yeah, let's just put it this way: untrusted source detected. Okay, so now let's return. So I'm going to save this and let's refresh this. Now, since the attacker is making use of port 9,000 and this is making use of port 8,000, that means they're on different, this thing, how do I call it, origin, separate origin. Okay, so I'm going to click on this and let's see what we have. Come, let me refresh and then click on it again. Alright, so we see here untrusted source detected. Okay, so you can see the cookie did not display here again. All right, so that is how you can prevent such vulnerability by verifying the source of the message. Okay, you have to verify the source of the message, where the message is coming from, before you can before your site can execute or even trust that message. Okay, so don't let your application or your website become someone's playground. Secure your post message calls, or one day you will wake up breached. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you don't get to miss any of my videos. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.